What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Peabody back with another video, man. So we got creepy TikTok video expose something massive that's going on, man. Hey, we about to get into it. Y'all already know what to do, man. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe, and leave comments down below. Oh yeah, don't forget to hit that bell to get notified when I drop this heat. But yeah, man, let's get into it. Hey, I appreciate y'all for rocking with me again, man. Let's get it.
We are going to be looking at some disturbing videos, strange and odd news stories, and as always, let's go ahead and get right into today's video.
So I thought the following video was very interesting. This was actually being released by a CERN employee in the United Kingdom.
And we got CERN.
She come out. So I thought the following video was very interesting. This was actually being released by a CERN employee in the United Kingdom. She come out to specifically state that between the days of January 21st through the 25th, there's going to be a major celestial event, and that CERN is going to be offline. The machines that deal with particle matters and portal stuff is going to be offline. She wants.
So she did say from the 21st to the 25th. Today's the 21st, so we got what, 4 days to witness whatever she's about to speak about.
It to be widely known that CERN is not going to be involved in any of the sightings that we are going to witness between the 21st and the 25th with this celestial event. To me, that's weird and it's a red flag. What is going to be happening? Take a look at what she has to say and tell me what you think.
This video is for the folks in the US, as you might not get to see this in a few days' time. My name is Clara, and I am a particle physicist working at CERN. And between the 21st and the 25th of January, there is going to be a beautiful display of the planets all lining up in the night sky. And I just really want to pass the message on that CERN, with the Large Hadron Collider that was used to discover the Higgs boson, we are off right now. We are not running. So anybody who might have gotten slightly over enthusiastic when the solar eclipse happened in North America, the Large Hadron Collider is not running. We are off. Nothing, anything that you think happens is nothing to do with us. Okay, thanks.
So the video you just saw.
Hey, Clara, why would you get on here speaking on this if y'all ain't got nothing to do with anything? Think you lying? What y'all got going on? Y'all got something up your sleeve, I bet.
All comes from the paranormal chick on TikTok, and apparently something will be happening between the 21st and the 25th of January, and this something will involve planets lining up, causing this big spectacle in the skies.
And y'all better believe my ass gonna be outside looking up, seeing what's going on. Because if something new happens or show, oh, I'm gonna go see with my own 2 eyes.
You also saw CERN's Taylor Swift, Particle Clara, say that, well, whatever you see, whatever happens will not involve CERN because look, our Large Hadron Collider will be down. My favorite part is when she says, she stutters, she looks to the side and says, we'll be off. Let me go ahead and replay that.
Slightly over enthusiastic when the solar eclipse happened in North America. The Large Hadron Collider is not running. We are off. Nothing, anything that you think happens is nothing to do with us. Okay, thanks.
Now, imagine asking her something as simple as, did you steal my cookies? And she goes, as she's looking to the side. Well, what cookies? Has nothing to do with me. Clearly, you know about the cookies, and clearly you know about something that CERN is going to be involved with in these next few days.
Absolutely. She know what's going on. She know what's up. They got their hands in something.
Particle Clara is either the ultimate troll or she's giving us the truth in plain sight like they usually do, because she responds back to the paranormal chick by saying it was tongue-in-cheek because of all the videos that link the solar eclipse to CERN, despite us being in Europe and solar eclipses happening all the time. Also no quote-unquote portal stuff. There will be just pretty planets in the sky. Enjoy. Now look, Particle Clara says that the solar eclipse should not be linked in any fashion to CERN because CERN is located in Europe. I really don't think that's a good excuse given the fact that
I'm with Colin right here on this post. Something is off, Clara. We don't believe you.
that CERN and the Large Hadron Collider was definitely active on that day. They even came out and stated that during the solar eclipse, they were hunting and looking for dark matter. So the solar eclipse was linked to CERN in one way or another. Let us also not forget the man they named after the God particle, Peter Higgs. The Higgs boson particle, the God particle, just happened to pass away on the day of the solar eclipse.
All right, I know they're talking about him, but just take a look behind him. Look at that big ass machine. Look at the wires. Just look at that. This is something I want to see in person. The amount of power that shit has to generate. I know it's insane. I know it's insane. Like, how do you even begin to build some shit like that?
Yes, he was in his 90s. Yes, he's old. That's what old people do. But still, what are the odds? Let us also not forget that this was the very first time that we saw this black flying thing in the sky. Something that I've covered quite often on this channel that I said looks like a flying serpent or a flying snake flying at very high speeds, which was also very interesting because NASA had their own ritual going on because NASA was firing all 3 rockets under a program, a project called Apep or Apophis, which is also a giant snake deity in ancient Egypt. It is the serpent, it is the snake or the devil, which is also kind of funny because it's also the name of this giant asteroid, which is supposed to either hit or miss Earth on Friday the 13th, 2029. I definitely have more to say about this quote-unquote asteroid Apophis later on in this video because I don't believe they're telling us the whole truth about this quote-unquote asteroid. But when it comes to the April 8th solar eclipse, I don't care what anybody says. It'll always be my opinion that the April 8th solar eclipse was one giant ritual. Yeah, we didn't see destruction and chaos. We did see the black flying thing in the sky, if you want to count that. But we didn't see destruction and chaos like many people thought we would. But I still believe something went down that day. And the very next day, on April 9th, is when we started to see the blob over in Antarctica. I don't know what is going to be seen in the skies other than supposedly these planets lining up, to the point that we have CERN coming out and saying, well, if you see something, don't blame us, we're going to be offline. But people are still recording very strange sightings in the skies. This next video was captured by Fox Violet on TikTok. This was captured over in Orlando, Florida. Multiple people in the comment section of her video said they witnessed the same exact thing. This is not a planet.
Yo, look at that thing, man. It looks like it's rotating. Oh, it's dropping down low. Where's it going?
This strange sighting was seen on a plane above California, and again, California has had many strange sightings ever since these fires. These are the things that people are saying they are just kites, but this video says different. Not only do we have to keep in mind the altitude, but watch how it turns to monitor the plane.
I'm not even gonna lie, world. What the fuck is that? I was about to call BS at first. But what is that, man? Real talk, what is that?
Se dio la vuelta.
Porque no se ve de forma de avión. Haces como una sombra. Y ahorita se vio como que brilló, pero no.
Y venía, pero
talking about California, something very similar to this was seen inside the smoke clouds during the wildfires in Los Angeles. What exactly are these things? In this next video by the Paranormal Chick, which shows something very similar to this, but this time it's captured in Florida. People in the comment sections of this video are saying that this is just a kite, but again, these things have been seen in very high altitudes during very high winds, like the winds in the Los Angeles fires. They have been seen inside smoke clouds. So the thing is, even if this is just a kite, what's featured in this video, are these kites designed purposely to cause confusion? Are these octopus kites designed very similar to these things so people can easily dismiss what they're seeing and say that it's just a kite?
Right before the TikTok ban, a witness in Coral Springs, Florida, captured what I have deemed the octopus UFO in their sky. Now keep in mind, he was right off the highway and literally pulled over to begin recording. This isn't a kite. This isn't somebody flying this, doing a practical joke. And now they're being seen over different states across the United States. But what is this? Is this a new type of UFO? And if it is, it's something that we've never seen before. It's completely different from jellyfish and the traditional UFO sightings. It almost makes you wonder if this is a new type of alien species or something else in our sky. Take a look at this and tell me what you think.
All right, my opinion on this right here, man, on what the comments said. It definitely looks like a kite. I don't get UFO from this. I don't get strange. I don't get out of the normal. I see a kite, and I'm going to call it a kite. Will it do some old crazy, spectacular shit that makes me think otherwise? Definitely a kite. 110%.
But the question is, where are these things coming from? And are they some kind of evolved form or a different form of these serpent-like creatures that have been seen in the skies, like I said, ever since the April 8th solar eclipse? But going back and talking about snakes, in a little over a week, we will be heading into the year of the snake on January 29th, 2025. This next disturbing video comes from Moon Henry on TikTok.
So let me get this straight. The government is summoning UAPs? We'll come right back to this. The news just dropped the first official piece of UFO evidence that you can clearly see, they say. This is the UFO egg that everyone's been talking about the last few days. I'm going to show you a clip in a minute where a guy says that they were summoning these UFOs, but...
Let's slow this down to take a closer look. That's an egg-shaped UAP suspended from a 150-foot long line. We're told the craft is about 20 feet long. The egg suspended in a cradle. And look how careful the pilot is as they bring their precious cargo into land. This is no blurry light in a distant sky. The source of the footage putting themselves at incredible risk to record.
Out of everything they have, they're gonna give us this. And now we're about to see how they summon them. But it's really weird how they use that egg video when we have Stephen Greer saying that we have ETs basically in some form of slavery.
That object, or whatever was controlling that object, was also connecting to me through my mind.
And so, how did the object come to land?
I think it was invited to land by the psionics team.
Jake says his mission that night came from no accidental crash. The UAP was summoned by a separate team, a special team with special abilities.
There you heard it. They summoned it. What else do you summon? Demons, fallen angels, you know.
When it comes to this News Nation video clip, I can't help but think that there is something more here than meets the eye. There are people that are cracking jokes saying this is a hoax. There are people that are taking this more seriously. But again, there is just something else here. They were really hyping up this UAP disclosure, and if they were going to do something fake, one would think they would use AI to make it look more like a...
Bro, I'm not even gonna lie. I don't even know what I'm looking at. They says it's an egg-shaped UFO. My honest opinion, I see a white balloon. Yeah, I'm sorry. I see a white balloon rolling around, I guess the ground. I don't even know what I'm looking at. What is this lone thing? Can somebody explain that? I'm not convinced with this footage. As much as I believe in UFOs and UAPs, this one right here is not convincing to me at all. I see a white balloon.
A craft. But again, they give us this, something that does look similar to an egg. Even those on News Nation, those who were revealing this disclosure, were calling it the egg. And again, I have been saying that these things flying in the skies at very high speeds or slithering look very similar to snakes.
You gotta give me something better than that.
Snakes do come from eggs. And what is Apophis? What is Apep? Apophis is the snake. It is the main demon snake. The individual in this video said that these things are summoned over here. It's all mental, which is very interesting because, again, Aleister Crowley, when he summoned over Lamb, Lamb told him to watch for the egg. Maybe Apophis is not a giant asteroid. Maybe it's an egg which holds a demon. And while that might sound funny, here's a couple of very interesting things about Apophis. The number for Apophis is 99942, as above so below 66642. The number 42 is very important.
I need y'all to write that date down, take a picture of it, or remember it. April 13th, 2029. It's supposed to be Friday the 13th. Asteroid will pass by.
Important in the Kabbalah. Matter of fact, I do believe the number 42 is the most important number in the Kabbalah. The number 42 is the number with which God created the universe according to the Kabbalah. So there you have it, 666 or 999. But again, we're going to the principles of as above, so below, and the number 42. But what's interesting is that months ago, I've made multiple videos where I said there is something off about this asteroid, and they are not telling us the whole truth about Apophis. There are even articles out there that even state how Apophis will be in the shape of an egg. Reading this article from WTSP, which is one of many articles talking about Apophis being in the shape of an egg, it says that it is also likely egg-shaped and taller than the Empire State Building. If Apophis did hit the Earth, it would cause widespread destruction up to a couple of hundred.
An egg-shaped Apophis, taller than the Empire State Building. That motherfucker big. Ooh-wee. Man, that motherfucker big.
Of miles from its impact site. And remember, Apophis is supposed to either hit or miss Earth on Friday the 13th, which is a date that's constantly pounded into our brains by big media, Hollywood, and so forth, as connected to bad luck, doom and gloom, and so forth.
Do y'all really want to see why they use the egg as disclosure for the aliens? Things are not as they appear. They're actually downright nefarious. Come with me. We'll come right back to this cosmic egg, the symbol of the bringing of all evil. So let me ask you this. What does every ancient and even modern culture all have in common? You know, it's not just in DC, right? It was in Egypt, it was in Babylon, it was in Rome. It's the missing member of Osiris. But how can I tell you about Osiris without telling you about Isis, who goes by many names? Isis, Inanna, Ishtar, the deity over the egg. Why we have Easter. Did you know that she's actually called the Queen of Heaven by these cults? The Bible talks about her quite a bit as well. So who is she? Get ready for a major plot twist. She is the wife, sister, and queen of Osiris. She was Osiris's sister, then they got married, being his wife, and then they had a child named him Horus. There's that egg again. Much like Osiris' missing member, you'll find that egg in every single culture. And what it means is there's a huge battle coming. At some point in this life, you'll get that everything is the exact same as it was. You know that when Aleister Crowley summoned the alien lamb that he told him also about the egg? The spiritual visitor told him it's all in the egg. This egg is always depicted with the snake wrapping around it. The cosmic egg or the Orphic egg, like these supposed cosmic visitors. Stay with me. The ancient symbol of the Orphic mystery was the serpent-entwined egg, which signified the cosmos encircled by a fiery creative spirit. I wonder who that is. Horus is in the egg, Apollyon, Abaddon, Apollo, the Lightbringer, Satan, Lucifer. But not just him. The egg also represents the soul of the philosopher, the serpent, the mysteries. At the time of the ignition, it shall be broken and a man emerges from the embryonic state of physical existence, wherein he'd remain through the fetal period. This egg is destined in all cultures and all mythology, and it represents all of evil breaking out of this egg. And when I say all of evil, I don't just mean spiritual, I mean physically. Something that those who hold the gates open would call a galactic battle. I'm talking about the last battle of Satan for the last time, with demons and fallen angels everywhere. Because it's now time for this egg to be opened. And that's why every indication we have leads to the same exact dates. 2027 is more than just a year. It's the year that fits every literal thing. We have the doom map, talking about 2025 and further. We have 1776 plus 250 years, perhaps maybe a little season. 2027, 2028. If we go with the old timeline, we have the 6,000th year or the 7th millennia starting in, you got it. Every single gauge of time that we have all points to the same exact time, which is why all of this is being introduced, why so many people are speaking on such grand levels, and why they say there's fleets heading to us. You, my friends, if you make it the next few years, get to see the grand climax of life ever. Pretty cool, right?
The asteroid Apophis is biblical wormwood. And if NASA's original date is correct, Friday the 13th, April 2029, when it's going to have its near miss. Oops, it didn't miss. Now what do we do? If that actually happens, and if it is wormwood from Revelation chapter 8, then that would be considered the middle of the Great Tribulation period according to dispensationalist theology. So I was explaining that. Therefore, some people might take NASA's date for 2029 back up 3.5 years to try to find the beginning of that dreaded 7-year Great Tribulation period, which would land in the year 2025. Well, as I'm saying that, Derek's sitting over there. He's got an iPad. I don't even know what he's doing, but he has opened up a Hebrew calendar, and his eyes gets real big, and he briefly says this, that if you take the date, Friday the 13th, April 2029, back up 3.5 years earlier to the day, you land in the middle of the Feast of Tabernacles, which has been connected by many scholars, people like Donna Howell, to the second coming of Jesus Christ. We started finding one element after another, that 3.5 years earlier than the arrival of Apophis, there's the Feast of Tabernacles. We also note the Feast of Trumpets. We also note the Feast of Pentecost, all of which are connected 3.5 years before the arrival of Apophis, by Bible prophecy scholars, as connected to the second coming of Jesus Christ.
I don't know if this has anything to do with the return of Jesus, given the fact that nobody is supposed to know the time and date of Jesus' return, according to the Bible anyway, but I do find the timing to be pretty interesting. We have these things in the sky.
Facts, man. It could be so much going on, but we would never know when the man coming back. You would never know. The only time you would know is when he shows. And that is the end of that. Stop assuming. Stop thinking that you know. Yeah, I know the Bible says a lot. It may make you think he's on his way, but you would never know until he shows. Remember that.
That do look like serpents. We have the UAP reveal, which looks like a big egg. We have Apophis that is supposed to hit or miss Earth, which also looks like an egg, and Apophis is named after the demon, the serpent, so it all seems to connect together. Talking about demons and fallen ones, I do find the topic of Astana, Kazakhstan to be very interesting, and this next video comes from the Trumpet Ezekiel on TikTok.
$50 billion is how much money we spent building a pyramid and a city on the other side of the planet. It's called Astana, Kazakhstan. And the pyramid that we built is in the middle of it, right in the heart of the city. It houses 200 delegates. And ironically, there are 200 fallen angels. But if you click inside that building, you can go to the boardroom, which has a round table where all 200 delegates get to meet. And if you disagree with them, there's a hole right there in the middle of the table, and you can see all the way down to the floor of reconciliation. And I guess that's the hole of peace. And that's next on the trumpet. The United States were some of the first people to even invest their money there. This is just one of many buildings they built. Circular 200-seat chamber for world religion meetings. Chapter 3 of the Book of Enoch, Fallen Angels, tells you all about the 200 angels that descended onto Mount Hermon. Mount Hermon is where that happened. And if you go to the Book of Enoch, you can see that those 20 names that it mentioned right underneath that verse, they were leaders of tens. So there were 200 people that descended right here on top of Mount Hermon. And the United Nations decided this is right where we need to build a base, on the 33rd degree parallel.
That's wild, man. That's crazy.
These people right here, and he will gather the nations. And no, I'm not talking about the Pope. Look at that logo right there. That's quite simply the 33rd degree. That logo shows the Earth divided by 8 sections, and each section is divided by 4 other sections. 8 times 4 is 32, and the center section makes the 33rd. There's a lot of people on that same page. Now you're going to start seeing that 33 show up everywhere, like in the buttons on his cloak. They represent the years of Jesus' life. The 33rd degree is where Jesus transfigured in front of the disciples. The 33rd degree is where the Masons built the Tower of Babel out of bricks. And yes, if you work with bricks or stones, you are considered a Mason. Charleston, South Carolina, home of the Masons. I love that these guys think that they are the oldest fraternity of men. You're not the oldest fraternity of men that swore an oath. That was the fallen angels. And they called it Mount Hermon because they had sworn and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. That book is in the Library of Congress. And this book is right on my shelf for all of us to read. And in the Sermon on the Mount, these are Jesus' words right here. Verse 33, in case you weren't paying attention. Again ye have heard that it hath been said by them of old time, Thou shalt not forswear thyself, but shalt perform unto the Lord thine oaths. The men of old time are spoken of right here in Genesis chapter 6 under the wickedness of the world. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them. The same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. Jesus goes on in the book of Matthew and says, But I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is God's throne. Swearing in on the Bible now has a whole new meaning for me. And when they take the oath of office, well, this ought to be great. These are all Jesus' words in red, right there. Did we really pay $50 billion for a pyramid on the other side of the world? We sure did. But we also bought this big replica of the sun and like the Tower of Babel. That was that building right up there. And that big building of the sun, that's right there. We can go right inside of it. It looks like there's a steering wheel in it and all. You touch that little button right there. And I'll show you where you can drive it like with one hand. It's zoom over. Get to that steering wheel. Where are you taking this thing? I don't know. We got to look at the map. Road over there. There's a map of the world. Sets like a seal in clay. That's just like the book of Job right there. And we'll zoom out. You can look at it. It looks just like a clay seal. And it's like half flat, half round.
What the hell am I looking at?
That's next on the
This
trumpet.
is crazy.
We paid $50 billion for the city of Satan. I took you inside that pyramid just the other day. There's the sun that I just took you inside of, and those are the 2 pillars of Freemasonry right there. If you twist those letters around, that place is real. No, really, if you back out of the sun and you go right down to the little place where I guess you could drive it to, you can go down to this big thing right here. It's like a museum or something. What does it say? Back out of that. It's like big as the earth, and then this thing going around it. We're just going to boop, bow, go right inside this thing. It's like some kind of crazy light show. $50 billion?
It's a lot of money, man.
Yes, it has the tower about it. Oh, fly this thing around. It is turned as clay to the seal, and it stands as a garment. Job chapter 38:14. I think that's Florida. There's that verse in the book of Job right there. It is turned as clay to the seal, and they stand as a garment. We may have paid $50 billion for a giant sun, but nobody knows what shape the earth is. God challenged Job to answer that question right here. Who is this that darkeneth counsel by words without knowledge? Gird up thy loins like a man, for I will demand of thee, and answer thou me. Where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare if thou hast understanding. Who hath laid measures thereof, if thou knowest, or who hath stretched a line upon it? Whereupon are the foundations thereof fastened? Or who laid the cornerstone thereof? And a man would answer that question by pointing at those things right there, when we don't even know how to build a blade of grass or what that stuff is in the middle of an acorn. But there are 3 crosses right there in the background. They really did spend $50 billion there. Jeremiah 33:3 says, Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great and mighty things, which thou knowest.
Thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you
Bro, that was some craziness right there, man. So to be honest, towards the end of that video, I need to look up that city or whatever the $50 billion they spent. I need to see that, man. That's crazy. But once again, man, there was some crazy TikTok videos for you right there, man. Stuff that's going on around the world. Like I said, if you like the video, hit that like button, subscribe, comment down below what you think of this video. Hit the notification bell, man. Get notified of these videos when I drop them. And yeah, until next time, I salute y'all. Appreciate y'all for rocking down with me, man. Peace.